The Zach Ratliff Show is brought to you by Mortgage Financial in Texarkana, Elmwood Custom Goods, and Church on the Rock, Texarkana. That's churchontherock.org.
Okay, everybody. We're just going to do a hard start on this, and then I'll add in some stuff. We had 9 minutes of this show recorded, and then my software died. But we're back, and so we're welcome to the Zach Ratliff Show. This is Dell. This is Steve. You can't see him. Steve, show yourself, or something you're wearing, or whatever you want to do. There you go.
That's my hat.
That's his hat. And so we're having a good discussion. Dale Hulls is running for Bowie County
Republican Party chair.
And so we're just talking about why that's needed, the flaws in our party is known, our county is known for not good leadership across the state.
Right. I mean,
And that's actually true.
Yeah, I'm not just making that up.
I think it's only become known in the last handful of months when we talk about censure. And I travel around the state, and if someone asks me who my
Move that
state,
closer to you.
if someone asks me who my state rep is, and I tell them Van Dever, if I just say HD1, they go, "Oh, that's Van Dever. He got censured."
well, and I have to tell you, I think it's more in a few months. I mean, it hasn't been a long, long time, but in the last couple of years, when you start talking about state reps and such, Van Dever's name is always being mentioned as one of those. Oh, I'm sorry. It's like, oh well, I know, but and that's why I ran against him last time.
Yeah.
Myself and Chris Spencer, and Chris Spencer's running against him again
Yeah.
this time. But it's one of those things where, you know, he we have we didn't even have this debate here in Bowie County, with the largest county in his district, and we didn't have a debate whether he was a good Republican or a bad Republican.
Right.
What we had was, should we throw him off the ballot or not throw him off the ballot?
That's not
Did he
what
be
it,
denied access to the ballot? And it's a red herring.
Yeah, that wasn't the debate. The debate was, is he a good Republican? Is he adequately representing us, or is he not? I mean, he is out of the 15 House members he most disagrees with. They're all Republicans, not Democrats, Republicans, and they're all the conservative members of the Texas House.
right.
Those we have records on there. He voted against school choice. He wanted to compost grandma. Instead of bury them in a cemetery, you want to be able to legally compost them in the garden. I'm like, are you kidding me? Those are the times.
I'm always really pushing up daisies.
And he's voted with the Democrats time and time again.
Okay, what was that? What was the compost grandma?
I don't
What
remember
was that?
this.
I can't remember the bill number, but yeah, he co-authored it.
I mean, what did it say?
I was not
Basically, it made
prepared
it
for
legal
this.
to go out there and bury grandma in the garden.
Oh, you don't have to use a casket or
No,
embalming or anything else.
no, it's a
Oh,
direct.
that's illegal?
Yeah, you can't just go bury people in the dirt, man. Yeah.
Can I
But
borrow a
anyway,
can I borrow a shovel?
Got a
well,
tractor.
you're not legally, you're not supposed to do that. I'm sure, you guys. But
Right.
anyway, the
Don't worry about what we do,
should have
Dale.
a debate. The Republican, the people who vote Republican overwhelmingly in this county, they should have known what the debate was. Now,
Well,
when it comes to throwing,
why didn't they?
Well-
That's going to be my question.
well,
There's
just-
no effort to educate the voters of this county coming from
right.
from the CEC, the County Executive Committee. There's no effort at all, and that's one of the reasons that at the Bowie County Patriots we kind of take it seriously to bring in candidates to have discussions about all these things because we're the only ones,
Yeah,
and that's not a slam; it's just a fact.
right. And we are the ones who
And so we always
educate.
do we always say. Gary Van Dever, everybody likes him. He's a great guy. We just don't agree with the way he votes.
And that's true, right?
Gary Singleton, the same thing. He's a super nice guy. He's real knowledgeable about things that are going on. We just think we need new leadership in the party.
Yeah,
I sat by him for 3 hours at the convention. I enjoyed the guy. He's very sharp.
Well, I supported him to be the elector out of our Senate district,
Yeah.
for Trump. So you're right. I like Gary, but in fact, I looked at his statement on why we shouldn't throw Van Dever off the ballot. It was well written. It was very well reasoned.
Just wrong.
Well, but see, the thing is, he had a logical case that could have been made it should have been made. It should have been made to everybody, not an after the fact letter to the
Or it
people.
should have been made. It should have been made in public.
Or it should have been made in a
At
CEC
at
meeting
a
when they were
meeting, yes, and
discussing
a
it.
discussion. Here's what I think. Somebody can go, well, I think something different. Here's
That's
what it
right.
is. Yeah, instead of unilaterally deciding for the entire county whether or not we think Van Deeper is a good
Right.
Republican.
So we never even got to play in the discussion here in
Right.
Bowie County.
Well,
Now, Lamar County did,
mhm,
Red River County did,
yeah,
and Morris County did.
yeah.
They all voted to censure Gary Van Deever.
Which is a big deal
It,
because the penalties on that were, first of all, publicly state that the censure has happened, use state Republican Party money to advertise what they got censured for and what the violations for. And then the third possible penalty was denial of access to the ballot as a Republican,
right.
not denial
In
of
the
access
primary.
to the ballot. Yeah. So, I mean, those are three substantive
Yeah. I mean,
issues that got shut down, but we didn't know about them here because, well, let me play devil's advocate. Um, the Bowie County Patriots and Dale Holes and their that group of ragtag misfits, they're they're just rebel rousers in the county that just want to stir up problems, right? That's the other side of the coin that's said often
It is.
about
It is.
us.
It's been said about us for quite a while. And I don't
but
really know what we've. I don't know what rabble we've roused, and I don't know that we've
because
stirred up
we
any
ask
problems.
questions, we question boldly. I mean, Thomas Jefferson,
Yeah.
But that's not being a rebel rouser. That's just saying, "Hey, I've got a question about how you voted, sir."
well,
Well, so
one
that shouldn't be offensive to
one
anybody.
man's patriot is another man's rival rouser, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the way. But see, that's establishment thinking that's out there. They go, oh, well, you can't.
You
Yeah,
can't criticize. That's
you
what a lot
can't.
of them think.
If somebody was elected as a Republican, they're untouchable. You cannot ever criticize them, and that's BS. My God, we should criticize them every time they deserve it.
Yeah.
We should
Sometimes
question
when they
everything.
don't.
They should fight for that job that they have every single day. It ain't theirs. It's ours.
Representatives.
Exactly.
That's the key. Do you and make yourself accessible. Let's don't have secret meetings with the congressman when he comes in at Silver Star Steakhouse,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And because I remember talking to one of the county Republican people, like, oh yeah, what time are you going to Silver Star? They're like, oh, how do you know? I'm like, because the representative's coming to my show to do an interview before, and we scheduled it around that. Oh, he told you? Yeah, it's not. There are 100,000 of us total around
Well,
here. Like
back,
we've heard.
back when Abraham George, the chairman of the Republican Party of Texas, came to Bowie County
Mhm.
just a few months ago
Yeah,
to speak to Bowie County Patriots, the Republican Party, Bowie County Republican Party, got super upset at their next CEC meeting, their
Yeah.
county executive committee, because they didn't know.
They did know because we told them.
I know we did.
Yeah.
But they were upset. They go, well, why did the chairman of the Republican Party come speak to the Patriots and not to the Republican Party of Bowie County?
yeah,
And the answer was because we asked them.
that's
They
right.
I
never
said,
have
"Hey,"
speakers
I
here.
said, "Hey, Abraham, do you have your calendar on you?"
Yeah.
And we looked it up. I said, "I've actually got this Thursday open because somebody had to bail on me." He goes, "I can be there," and he showed up.
Yeah.
And I told him later that the CEC got their feelings hurt because he didn't invite them personally. Hey, well, why did the invitation have to come from the Wood County Patriots? Why he should have called us. He's like, "Well, it if it was an official alert, if it was an official party function, they would have been notified, but it wasn't an official party function. But maybe we should change that." That's what he said.
Well, you know what the funny thing was about that was they wanted to put forth a letter of reprimand or something like that, saying we disapprove of you coming to our county without coming to see us or speak to us or whatever. And they couldn't even do anything because the way the Bowie County Executive Committee meetings are run, if it's not on the agenda, they can't talk about
I
it.
couldn't even talk
They
about
couldn't
it.
even bring up new business. So they're like, we got to this letter.
Got our feelings hurt.
Can't do it because it's not on our agenda.
Which
Like, are you kidding me?
on the
And then
recording reference that
and
we
then
lost, we
3
went through Robert's Rules of Orders pretty extensively, and we talked about why
we
they did
did.
it. We don't have to
It was
replay
like
that.
somebody was reading a book.
Yeah.
3 weeks later, 3 or 4, we had Dorinda Randall, who was the state vice chair. And at the same day I asked Abraham to come, I asked her to come. and just because of timing and stuff, it needed to be 3 weeks out, and so she came, and I called her, and I said, hey, the party, the CEC, was offended because Abraham didn't call them directly. And so, is there any way that, or notify them directly? Is there any way you could do that? And I could hear her eyes roll over the phone. And I'm being nice about it. I mean, she was like,
Yeah,
oh, okay. And I'm like, there's several of those guys that are on our email alert list. They know exactly who's there.
right,
So they chose last night not to come see someone running for governor. Maybe we'll
right.
get to that in a minute. So she did. She very deliberately notified I mean, the party I mean, as a group, and then several of the key people. She notified them, "Hey, I'm going to be at the Bowie County Patriots the Thursday, the whatever. I would love to see you guys there. If we could get together ahead of time, I'd love it." And that last part
Crickets,
about get together ahead of time,
crickets.
yeah, she didn't hear anything. Or yeah, man, I would love to, but I got to work.
Right.
Yeah,
So don't complain that the Bowie County Patriots are inviting people if you're not inviting people, and I'm gesturing like I'm on TV. If you're not inviting people and you're not showing up at the meetings,
well, it's like the Republican Party Executive Committee, which is made up of the precinct chairs and the county chair,
Who are elected.
who are elected. They meet once a quarter, supposedly,
almost every year.
almost every year. But the
That
Bowie
was
County
me. I'm
Patriots, we
sorry.
meet every week, except
Every
for
Yeah.
maybe
Thursday.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you can come in
Yeah,
Thanksgiving, but the meeting's in the parking lot,
yeah.
and
Yeah, we won't be there.
You'll
we
be
won't
there
be
by
there,
yourself.
and I won't be
But
there.
but anyway, we're there weekly, and we're out there doing this work all the time. I
And
just
we're talking to, you know, I mean, Steve, with what you do, and then where you're talking, and we're talking to massive amounts of people. Adam, or preferred listener number one, we're talking to massive amounts of people spreading this information, getting them out there. People come to you. People come to you. People come to me for information on how to vote, what to vote, what's going
Right.
Okay,
on.
so last night we had, ministerially speaking, close to 300 people at the Bowie County Patriots. We had
Sure wasn't 500.
I mean, if you had to round it, I would say 500, but in actuality, there was 52, 53 people there.
Yeah.
Packed room.
Huh? Yeah, it was. It was packed. People were around the corner, and they were sitting in the dark for a
Eat
while.
barbecue standing up.
They were, bless their hearts. They're early. That's what the email said. Um, and so, looking around the room, the ones you can think of, how many precinct chairs were there last night?
It
I mean,
was
I don't
probably
know all of
4.
them. Yeah, so I don't want to name them because they
Right.
might face retaliation. But the guy that was standing up against the wall for a
Well, they
while.
all
Yeah.
they all support me too.
You're right.
So the guy standing up against the wall for a while.
Yeah.
Who else?
We know who they are. But
I
anyway,
mean, how many?
yeah.
But how many?
The teacher,
There's about
Which teacher?
the
That's the
guy.
same one.
Oh, okay.
Count him twice.
you know,
But there weren't many people there, and
Oh.
they're notified about these things. Here's a guy running for governor as an outside candidate. I think he's got a better shot at it because of his strategies. And he talked about all of them last night,
Yeah.
but because of his strategies and the way he wants to do things, I think he's got a better shot than Chad Prather, Alan West, Don Huffines, the three guys who ran last time, and who all, by the way, visited the Bowie County Patriots.
Right.
So I think Doc Pete Chambers has a better shot than any of them do because of his strategy that he's working on.
But I think the point you're making
But
is
they
that
didn't.
there's only like 4 precinct chairs showed up out of about 32
Yeah.
that are sitting precinct chairs.
Yeah.
Out of the 40, I think that we're allotted. So it's like, yeah. So this is a very small percentage of, and these are the people who ran for elected office, precinct chair.
Yeah.
It's on the ballot on the primary, and they're supposed to be the ones who are engaged. They're supposed to be the ones who go out and tell their precinct, "Here's what I know. Here's what I see. Here's the skinny on what's going down.
Yeah. Make sure you vote.
Make sure you vote."
Here's the predominant views on all the different amendments we're voting on this time.
Right.
They should be educating
You
people.
you just mentioned the amendments. Who did the amendment town hall basically here in Bowie County? Church on the Rock.
Yeah.
And it's some of the activists, from the Bowie County Patriots. There wasn't any Republican Party affiliation in that.
Allegedly, they tried to put one together that fell apart.
It
Well,
was like a 2, 3 days before or after.
Yeah.
I remember that now.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, it wasn't a serious effort.
Well,
Let's
we had 200, one of 200, 150,
At least 150 at the church.
150.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
150, 200. Yeah,
at church, like a
It
literal,
was a
like
good turnout.
yeah.
yeah, literal 150.
I mean, because there's 17 constitutional amendments we're going to be voting on in
We had
about what, 10
experts from
days or so.
they brought experts from across the state
That's
in.
right.
Like it's been so. With that being said, there's
And
weakness.
just
Go
real
ahead.
quick,
Yeah,
Richie Grant ramrodded that.
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
Richie did
big
awesome
time.
on that.
She's over the Christians Engaged group at Church on the Rock,
Right.
and she did all that.
Yeah, she made
Church
that
on the
happen.
Rock posted it, paid for a lot of things, took care of all that kind of stuff, but it was Richie. So we'll just throw that out there.
Shout out
Thanks,
Richie. And she listens. Thanks for being thanks for being a viewer, Richie. And yeah, she did awesome with that. But so there's obvious weakness in our county.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
No matter if somebody's a good person or not, what's your
communication-
difference? What will you do different to say, hey, let me just because look, we're talking to a nationwide audience, so this doesn't apply to everybody. But the way it works here is you have your precinct chairman for the party. That's your local person, the couple streets around you, neighborhood around you, area around you, you know, and then they're who you should say, when people are like, oh, it doesn't matter what I think because that never gets anywhere. No, you elect the person who will represent you there, then they take it to the county, then the county has a person, and then that goes to the state convention, and then that's where they make the party platforms, which is what we hear about in the news. Oh, the Republican Party platform, or what's this? What do Republicans believe? It comes from the people, from your precinct chairs, then to your county, which you're running for county Republican chair, and then taken to the state. Then we give direction through that to our people who are going to run as Republicans, which is why Van Dever got censured because he didn't follow the Republican Party platforms. So when
he voted against it.
yeah, he voted against it. So this is how you make your voice heard. Whatever state you're listening to this in, there's an apparatus like this around you. But if you want to be heard, you don't have to run for precinct chair. You don't have, but if you know your precinct chair, if you know your county chair, this is how you make your voice known.
Well, see, the main thing you're talking about is communications.
Yeah.
And it's communications from a precinct chair to the precinct to the voters in there, whether they're Republicans, hopefully soon to be registered Republicans,
Yeah, right.
or independents, or even Democrats. You got to sway them over to our
And
side.
Democrats have their own apparatus.
That's right.
Too. Like if you're a Democrat and you listen, because I know you're out there, you can also influence your party in the same style apparatus.
But the problem is in Bowie County, right here, we don't have those lines of communication.
No.
You can call the county chair all day long. You can send him text messages. He ain't never going to respond. I mean,
Yeah, never.
that man is a ghost, and it's the way the party operates. You don't know who your precinct chairs are. Can't find their phone numbers. There's no presence online. I mean, there's a Facebook page, Bowie County Republican Party, but it's always just posts put out by the party.
Right.
There's no interaction. There's no, well, what do y'all think?
Yeah.
We've got this issue, closed primaries. What, should we do that? Do we want them closed? Do we want them open
Yeah,
like
what
they
do the
are now?
people think?
What do the people think? What do the party leadership say? What are the people in Austin saying? We don't have that communication. That's what I would do different. I
Right.
would open up all that communications on my cards, my campaign card.
Uh-huh.
My phone number's on there. When I ran for state rep, my phone number's on there.
Right.
If you want to talk to me, call me or send me a text and I will respond. You don't get that out of the Bowie County Republican Party today.
And what's your website? Dale Halls.
No. My website is www.holes4BowieGOP.com.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Holes for Bowie
Yeah,
GOP.
HULS 4. You can either spell it out 4 FOR or the number 4, and it's Bowie GOP.
Well,
Do you
but
use AI to build your website?
No, I used Adam.
he used AG or AH.
One step below AI, but he did a
This
wonderful
is a
job.
good point to point out. The Bowie County Patriots does meet every Thursday.
Yeah.
And upcoming events. This week is actually open. Brian Chapman from Turning Point was supposed to be here. They're having a big meeting in Phoenix. He'll be back in January. November 13th, they got Alice Linehan. She's been a big proponent she's going to talk to us about school choice. Let's say it that way.
I've known her for 15 years.
Proponent wouldn't be the right word to use just then, though.
Yeah.
She's against school choice, and I think it's a really good reason to come listen to her and find out why. She's against it the way they talk about it.
Yeah.
December 4th, Mays Middleton is tentative. We have
Also,
Yeah,
the
some.
he's
day
too.
after my birthday. Also, I won't be there because I've got a Christmas party to attend. So now you guys know.
When is that?
I've got it on December 4th.
Oh,
My birthday's December 3rd, but then I've got a Christmas party from
sucks to
work.
be you.
These Christmas parties
You're
for
gonna miss it, man.
real
Yeah, you
estate
are.
real
Yeah.
estate Christmas parties
This
they're
is
worth being at.
this is the best Bowie County Patriots meeting we're ever gonna have. And you're gonna miss it.
No, I won't
That's
be there,
not
so
true.
it can be.
So December 11th is Pat McCoy, who's the Bowie County Election Administrator.
Also
Uh,
have a party that I'll be at that night, just so you know.
um,
Man, you're just a
so
social
look, we
butterfly.
do this
Yeah.
every Thursday. So
Yeah.
when somebody says, "Hey, can you show up on Thursday night at our thing?" You should say, "I can't. People who are more important to me are meeting that night." That's what you
Pretty
should be
much
saying.
do that.
So,
Except
so in
if there's like alcohol involved or something.
January, in January we'll have Brian Chapman back. It is back because he's been here once before. And then we'll also, who did I say we had? Nate Sheets.
Nate.
Nate Sheets is running for the Ag Commissioner, Agriculture
Yeah.
Commissioner, and he's going to be here. I believe that's the January 22nd when he's coming. And that's the ones that I know about right now. But we meet every Thursday. So if we don't have a guest this Thursday, we'll talk about current events.
Yeah.
And we've
Right.
got people that really pay attention in our group.
Yeah.
And like we have 2-minute topics most of the
Right.
time.
3 of them
And
are right here.
well, it's not a 2-minute topic if I do it.
Well, we
Yeah.
can talk about the open primaries and how Attorney General Kim Paxton is siding with the Republican Party of Texas against Jane Nelson, Secretary of State, on whether we should have open or closed primaries.
Well,
I mean,
there's a 2-minute topic.
that's
There's like 3.
yes,
Yeah. So
you know,
so here's the
yeah.
thing. If we don't have anybody scheduled, and you go to BowieCountyPatriots.org and see this, it's the very first thing you'll see when you go there on your phone or on a whatever device is the schedule. And so if we don't have somebody here on the 30th of this month, come and ask questions and say, "Hey, I have a question. Why is it this way?" Because there's people there that know.
Yeah.
It's an educated audience for
Oh, yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
I mean, it's an
the group
educated
that's
group.
there. Yeah. Yeah.
There are oftentimes people are talking about stuff, and I'm like, I have no idea what we're talking about. Like, I feel stupid.
I mean,
As a
when Joe
leader,
Cruz comes, I was like, oh my God, we
Well-
could go deep into this.
Well, you know,
as,
we had
as a
Joe
leader
on
of the
here.
Bowie County Patriots, I will tell you, sometimes I think, why are we talking about this?
Yeah, yeah. I had Joe on here. And we
Oh
did
my
a
God, we had
2-hour
somebody
episode.
recently started a fight almost.
Oh, I was there.
Oh, did it say Ireland, the Israel thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
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 I heard about it. I wasn't.
Oh no, it was salty, buddy.
Yeah, you were on death's doorstep, but
Oh, yeah.
And here we are fighting about Israel. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about conservatism, about Republicans, and the way it should be. We're for an exchange of ideas.
Right.
yeah.
We
don't wanna-
we don't beat the party drum and all have to fall in line like good comrades, like the Democrats do, or like the rhinos in the RNC want.
Quit
you
talking,
to.
Hitler. I can't hear it from you.
I know
Hitler,
bigotry,
Nazi,
bigotry.
brown shirt.
We're for an open exchange of ideas. So yeah, we had a lady stand up, say some views on Israel that really ruffled some feathers, and
It really ruffled some feathers.
but we all came around. A few of us spoke on this, like, "Hey, here's what I think you're trying to say here." But really kind of calm people down. But by the end of it, we all came together because most of us in there are Christians.
Yeah.
And we know that Jesus is the ultimate answer. And we're just doing our part. But 2, we have the idea of freedom
Right.
to be able to speak and do and make. And that's what we're in there to do. Even when somebody goes a little off the
And
reservation.
there were some people in the audience that wanted her to shut up.
And we're trying to shut her down.
Well, no, but they argued with her vehemently, but they didn't try to shut her up.
Yeah, that's right.
She got to talk.
Yeah.
She got to say her piece.
And they got to say
did too.
theirs.
They did.
And that's the way it's supposed to work.
Yeah, I tried to smooth it over. It might have worked a little bit. I can do that sometimes.
Uh-huh.
I have to really concentrate. Zach talked for 3 or 4 minutes and really made the point well.
I can believe it.
And that's why Zach has the radio show and
Yeah.
I'm not even on
Podcast.
camera.
Usually we do have it set up to where you're on camera. I don't know. I must have adjusted it at some point, but now it's just fun. You're like the guy on Tool Time, that's across the fence. Like you can
Oh,
see,
yeah.
you can see your cup in your hand and
See his eyes and then
We're-
the fence. Yeah.
yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about.
like Jeff the robot on the Craig Ferguson show.
Oh, yeah, okay. I didn't know where you're going. Yeah, I'm with you. Except for we don't harass all the women that come on here.
Did he do that?
Yeah.
No,
So
that was Craig,
yeah, that was great.
but they liked it.
Well, maybe that's what everybody
Probably
does to
shouldn't
harass
say
him.
that,
Maybe
but they
everybody
seem to
does.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
They
that's what
laugh with him.
every
They was going,
harasser
"Don't
says.
say that."
Like,
Everybody does on TV, all right?
yeah, I don't think they did. Just yeah. Speaking of harassment,
Doc Pete Chambers, things he said.
yeah, that's where I was going
And
to
then
go.
there's an article that just came out today. I have it on my phone. Y'all can't tell, but that's where I have it.
No, they can tell. They can see your phone.
Can they?
The start of
Death
the
row
show.
inmate appeals sentence. Claims prosecution claims prosecution fat shamed her.
Well, now this is the lady
Taylor
that
Parker.
here locally. Once again, only 49% of our audience is in Texas. You know, we're in over.
Right.
But murder is against the law almost everywhere.
Yeah, as far as I know.
Yeah.
This was a heinous murder.
Yeah.
It was.
Anyway, what she did was cut a baby out of a pregnant woman. So, side note, when my baby mama was pregnant, all of a sudden she had an irrational fear. She's like, "Oh my gosh, somebody's going to grab me and cut our baby out of my stomach." And I was like, "Whoa, whoa, we have gone too far off the deep end on whatever we're listening to."
Have some ice cream and pickles. Dude.
Yeah, no doubt. She one time wanted a bacon sandwich, BLT,
Yeah.
and by the time I'd made it and she ate it, she was disgusted with bacon. It wasn't allowed to be in the house for us. Whole different deal. But guys, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, she was convinced that somebody's going to try to get her and cut the baby out of her. And I'm like, I'll just be around you. I usually have a gun with me. Side note, usually have a gun with me. And then when this came out, she
October
was
9th, 2020. Taylor Renee Parker cut up Reagan Hancock, killed her, beat her, strangled her, strangled her, cut the baby out. The baby's Braxton on November 9th, 2020 in New Boston, Texas.
So my daughter then at that point was 5. As soon as this comes out, my baby mama shows it to me. She goes, "See,
Told you.
I was right."
I'm like, of course. Then I'm like, that's the sickest thing I've ever heard of.
So a lot of the trial was did she know the baby was alive and she abducted it? I mean, obviously there's murder, but it was a really heinous crime. But the thing that this all comes down to, her appeal. Let's see. During the jury trial, the state provided extensive background evidence concerning her weight loss and prior extramarital affairs. She claimed that the trial was tainted by numerous errors, most notably extraneous evidence admitted in the case, talking about her weight. Witness after witness that Parker had weight loss surgery and that beforehand she had been very large. And so she's saying, because I was fat shamed, I shouldn't have the death penalty.
Yeah.
And I contacted Kelly Crisp this morning. And I said, I texted the article, and she said the only reason the weight loss, so the weight came up, was that she was heavy enough that people would think she was pregnant.
Yeah.
Or wouldn't they,
Wouldn't question that she had a baby.
Right.
Well,
And that's the only reason it came up. But so fat shaming?
Yeah, let me put a pin in this one because I was selected for that jury, but I had orders to go down to the border and work at a federal detention center down there.
You were a federal employee at the time.
I was a federal employee at the time, and the judge had me up there in the courtroom in front of the prosecutor, defense, and everybody else, questioned me about whether I should serve on the jury or not. And ultimately, it came down to a question. He goes, "Listen, federal government has ordered you there. This court has ordered you here. What are you going to do if we both say you got to do it?" And I said, "Well, I will serve the court because I live here."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Okay." With that said, he goes, "I'm really going to take off the prosecutor because she really wants you on this jury, but I'm going to let you go to the border and work." And so I was excused from that. But you know what? I did not want to serve on that jury. As what you see on TV and everything, I did not want to hear the details. I did not want to go sit through that. That is a heinous thing. I'm so blessed that God let me go to the border to see radical Haitians and
Yeah. I
Mexicans and everybody else coming across the border and deal with those rather than that.
well, my father-in-law was a 22-year FBI man, and I did the Tony Alamo case in Falk, Arkansas, and and he would talk about some of the stuff, and he's like, man, he said you have to be able to compartmentalize it because he's like,
I bet.
it's just grotesque. So I hope this person gets the death penalty.
Well, she's already gotten the
Yeah,
death penalty.
Yeah,
got it.
but
This is an appeal,
right.
and it sounds like it's an appeal because they hurt my feelings, and I don't think
Well, I
that's
mean, if
going
I
to
had the death
apply if
penalty,
you
I would be appealing for whatever I could
Yeah.
make up as well.
right.
Or they can make their peace with God and accept what's coming.
Well, that's not what the devil wants.
No, no.
No.
I mean,
Okay, Doc Pete Chambers.
yeah, let's
Okay.
go. Let's go. So we had Dog Pete Chambers at the Patriots last night,
Yeah, Pete
running
Chambers.
running for governor. Man, his history, the things that
Oh yeah.
uh, extensive.
Yeah, Army, Special Forces, Ranger. He was a
Ranger, Green Beret, yeah.
Beret. At some point,
Border security for Texas.
yeah,
Border security for Texas.
he's
Worked for the governor on the COVID thing, which I love to hear.
Yeah.
What he
because
had to stop
because
border
he's a
security.
doctor.
Yeah,
When he got out of the military, or I guess the military put him through
Well,
training or whatever. But
he took a break.
he's a surgeon.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a trauma surgeon.
Yeah.
I would want him in the ER.
which is what he
because he's
did with
pretty
the special
calm and cool.
forces deployments.
Yeah, he said he
Yeah.
was a plumber on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Stop bleeding. That was his only job.
So he's done that. He's been a deputy sheriff.
Yeah.
He's worked as a rancher.
Yeah.
Not the rancher. He wasn't a rancher. He worked on a ranch. He said, "I can't run a ranch." He said, "I can go out and bring the cows in.
Right.
I'm a good hand, but I'm not a rancher." One of the first times I saw him. Actually, I had breakfast with him about 2-3 months ago. Somebody arranged that for me, and that's what he said. I'm not a rancher. I'm a good hand.
Well, he did say he sold his herd to run for governor too.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
so I mean, he did have
Well, that was his dream
substantial.
to just be a rancher, but have a small herd and just sell it.
Yeah.
And that's how you want to retire. But like so many of us, he's called to service.
Yeah.
And you can't ignore those calls.
Well, let's talk about what he said about COVID because this sticks. This is stuck in my craw. This is
That
why
one statement.
stuck in my craw.
Yeah. Oh, the other one though, almost as good was it's not about medicine, it's about policy.
That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
Yeah.
That's what he was told
Yeah.
by
I
a
think more than once.
commanding general.
Yeah.
But here,
He worked for the governor.
yeah,
I didn't know there was a bunker 8 stories below the
Oh,
Capitol.
yeah.
Is it below the governor's mansion or below the Capitol?
Below DHS offices.
What's HS?
DHS.
Oh, DHS. Okay, yeah. So that's cool. So he's working. He's like the doctor.
and he's advising against the COVID vaccine, and he's advising
Ivermectin.
ivermectin,
Hydrochlor-
hydroxychloroquine, or whatever how you say
However you say
it.
That's how we're saying it.
All
now.
that
Yeah.
stuff that we were
Hydroxychloroquine.
being
Made
canceled
fun of.
for,
Well,
Ca-
and here's my deal.
potentially prosecuted for.
Yeah, here's my deal, and this is why I've been, because even I catch slack all the time for saying, "Hey," when somebody's like, "Oh, well, I'm a fan," or "I'm backed by Greg Abbott," I always go, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" Not everybody's a fan of Greg Abbott because
Right.
you're looking at me,
Yeah.
and because he shut down 3 of my family businesses. I mean, it was hard
Yeah.
to live because we're independent business owners, and then luckily for us, what we carry at one of our businesses, even though it's in the supply industry, in the supply side of hair business, was a certain gauze that the hospitals couldn't get anywhere else in this area. So we were essential.
Yeah.
And so and then my wife was making like baskets of stuff to deliver to houses to make money. Like we were having to find a way. Talk about putting a stress on a family on multiple different businesses. My daughter didn't get to see her grandparents because they were scared to death to come out of the house.
Yeah.
Like Greg Abbott did this.
Yeah.
We cannot forget that he was the one. And I remember calling our judge here and being like, "Hey, this is ridiculous if you're going to run on shutting us down." So now we have Doc Pete Chambers come in and say, "Hey, I was against this. He tells the story, and then he talks about being on the
Several
border.
stories. Yeah.
Yeah, talks about being on the border, so telling the general, "Hey, I'm not going to make these guys do this
Right.
unless they have informed consent." And that's when, back to your quote, they said,
That,
"Well,
that's a COVID shot.
yeah, that's the COVID shot,"
Yeah.
and so they were like, they should just do it. It's policy over what was it?
It's not about medicine. It's about policy.
Yeah,
But he said the law is if you're going to be given an experimental vaccine, you have to have informed consent. Someone has to tell you all the details, and you have to say, "I'm going to do it anyway."
no, I have
And
a
they said, "It's not about medicine. It's about
You know, the
policy."
funniest thing I hear he said about that though was when he told them, what the regs said. They go, "Oh, so you're a reg guy," and then they looked at him and says, "Your mustache is out of regulations."
yeah,
It's like, oh, I kind of
Rigs.
from the military.
right.
It's like they took some, and he goes, "You got me on my my mustache is probably out of reg, but you know what? It ain't going to cost anybody their life."
That's
You
right.
know,
Well, and that's still out there that
Non-essential
people.
mustache.
Yeah, that's right.
not
That
essential.
people don't understand. I had a friend who she was a college cheerleader, obviously when she was in college, and all American cheerleader. Okay,
She was still is.
but
Yeah.
Nobody
I
knows.
mean, well, and she's still very athletic, but was an athlete. Great health.
Right.
Um, got the shot. All of a sudden, got a heart
Yeah.
issue. This is what we know happened. This is what people like Pete Chambers were saying was going to. This is what regular people like us
Right.
were saying was going to happen. This was an issue. It still is an issue. That's why I'm going to support this guy. Look, do I know if he's got a snowball's chance of going over the Abbott machine? I don't know. If and
I think he does.
well, I'll say this: if it's from God, you know,
Yeah.
when David
Right.
went to Goliath, how many stones did he take?
Exactly.
5.
Five.
Why? Because he had 4 brothers. He knew he wasn't just going to kill one of them. He's about to take. There was so much confidence. And now I'm not saying this is a David-esque character,
Right.
but what I am saying is when God decides, and I'm not saying God has decided. I don't want any of that. But if he has, and if this guy is his agent,
Well, it's like, but like Pete said, even if he don't win, if he can get the messages out, if he can get the discussion, the debate, out there to let people know informed consent on
yeah,
how they're going to vote, that it's worth it.
yeah,
And that's the servant's heart. It's not looking at an end result. It's the journey getting there.
right.
You know,
Follow him on Twitter because he is actually on Facebook. He's just got on Facebook recently. He puts essays on there, and there's one about
Is it under Doc or Pete?
Doc Pete Chambers. Um, there's one essay I just saw it this morning, and he's talking about the buoys they put in the
Right.
Rio Grande, and it shows the buoys, the picture they put in the papers,
Mhm.
and like you're right up next to one of them, and it shows a string going downstream. But they had an aerial photo, and it was only like 500 yards long,
That's
and
right.
it was just a photo op. It's all it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was there
Yeah.
for all this stuff, and so he's saying this is actually what happened.
Well, it's like when they put all those trucks on the border, bumper to bumper, and the wire and everything, and it was only like 400 yards wide, and they
Yeah.
were streaming around each end of it.
Yeah,
know,
all the thing about Del Rio.
Abbott has the best damn PR I've ever seen of
Yeah,
anybody.
it's a machine.
It is awesome. Now, whether Doc has a chance to win or not, I don't care. I'm
Right.
going to vote for him.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I get sincerity out of this guy
Yeah.
and some integrity.
Yeah.
And I've seen the other operations now. They'll say, "Well, he got a school choice." They play the political game so much. If you got to look under the hood, see how the engine actually runs.
When Doc even talked about playing the political game so
Yeah.
much, he even talked about the whole no Sharia thing.
Oh yeah,
Like that was a big deal to me
Yeah.
because especially here in our town where there's a mosque a mile and a half from where we sit, which freedom of religion, do what you don't bring your way of government into
yeah.
us.
See that's the thing. Sharia is not just religion; it is government,
Right.
and it is
It's
an
an
antithetical
entire way
government.
of life. Yeah.
Is an antithetical government to our Constitution, and that is why it cannot be allowed. And
He
we need to
mentioned-
have we need to plainly state what the problem is and deal with it directly and head
and
on.
have an actual solution for it.
That's right.
Since
I
we're-
travel all over the state, And I hear this everywhere.
Well,
That's
I had
It
CARE.
is a constant.
I had CARE come in my office and try to lobby me and Brent Money's office about Epic City and how it wasn't bad and how they weren't. The only Sharia they're going to do is like maybe some burial practices, et cetera, et cetera. I'm like, no, I spent 5 years in Saudi Arabia. I know exactly what the hell you're talking about.
since we got here. I was sent there this morning. I'm like, I don't even know if I can use this, even though I agree. But here we are. We've arrived at the point where I can use this. This is from Johnny Midnight. If you're not following him, you should.
That's a real name too.
Yeah, Johnny Midnight. Yeah, that's right. His dad's Billy Morning. And anyway,
Well, it was a guy named Billy Sunday.
he's on X.com.
It's
It
like
says,
quarter after.
this is from Quran 9:111. You will kill non-Muslims to receive 72 virgins. From Quran 2:17 and 489. You will kill anyone who leaves Islam. From the Quran 8:12 and 47:4, you will behead non-Muslims. From Quran 9:5, you will kill and be killed for Allah. Quran 8:12 and 8:60, you will terrorize non-Muslims. You steal from non-Muslims. And then from Quran 3:26, 3:54, 9:3, 16:106, and 40:28, lie to strengthen Islam.
Absolutely. I mean,
They're allowed to lie to you. They're allowed to tell you,
they teach that to 10-year-olds in Islamic schools here in Texas.
yeah, we're going
They
to
teach them
kill, we're
that.
going to lie, we're going to steal,
Yes.
and it's okay because Allah is going to revert
The
reward
Quran,
you.
I mean, their quote unquote religion divides the world into two places. The religion of the world at peace, which means you are subject to Islamic Sharia, and the world at war, which is everybody else.
Yeah,
And we're the ones that they're at war with.
that's why, and I'm glad you said it. That's why they're looked at as, or they call themselves the religion of peace, because what they say is if you're inside their religion, you're at peace.
That's right.
However, they'll kill each other over not believing the
Oh,
exact
okay.
same thing. But they're not the religion.
Literally
of
had
peace.
a school for girls. That was probably a horrible thing to think about for them. Catch on fire, and men got outside with guns in case any of the girls ran out without their hijab, and they wound up shooting several of them.
Right. So
So instead of putting the fire out, let's make sure they don't shame the prophet or whatever.
yeah,
And one of the things they look at is that if anybody leaves Islam, it's the death penalty. That's apostasy.
we have them come to
And
our church.
yeah, and we have. I know more than one person who was a Muslim priest or cleric, whatever the word is, and converted to Christianity. Their law says that they can kill them. Now the thing is, in Islam, everybody is born into Islam. The entire creation,
Mhm.
everybody is born a Muslim.
Okay, well, let's just climb back out of this rabbit hole a little bit.
Yeah.
But the point is, we have not banned Sharia law in
So
Texas.
here you're the reasonable one.
Oh crap! Am I?
But you're right. So,
But yeah.
so we haven't banned Sharia law.
We played around the edges and made it appear like it
Yeah.
because we're enforcing our funeral regulatory laws
Yeah.
or our.
We're not allowed to stone somebody.
Well,
That's one thing
yeah.
that said, okay, so we can't throw rocks at you and kill you. Also, it's illegal to stab you to death with a fork, if you want to know.
That's right.
You know, however you want to get about it, you can't kill somebody.
Yeah. So they we use a lot of word games to say, oh yeah, we banned Sharia. No, we haven't.
No.
There's no law in the books, the Texas regulations that say Sharia is not allowed to be practiced here in Texas.
Yeah.
And here's what I liked about him.
It's just another word game, just like that stupid 400-yard line of buoys in the
Yeah.
in the Rio Grande River. It's just a stupid word game to make people think that you're doing something when actually you're not.
All hat, no cattle.
Right?
Yeah.
So why would a politician want to appease radical Islam? Why would a Republican politician especially want to appease radical Islam?
If only there was a senator that also did this.
Yeah.
What's his
Hmm.
name?
Who could that be?
I don't know. It's not Cruz.
No.
There's another one.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's exactly right. Why would you want to do that? And then to the point made last night, and this is, for those that don't know, my assigned seat at Bowie County Patriots is beside Dale and his wife. And so, but
He always says, save me a seat.
yeah, And so when
But
no, because I've assigned it to myself.
Yeah.
and
It
so
always sits with the best people.
that's right.
it
But
is
so when
it is
he's
a it is a non-whispering table.
when we get in trouble. But so when he's talking about what's going on the border and all these things, Dale, with your extensive history on the border, that's why I kept looking at you and you just shake your head because I'm like, I need to know if this guy's telling the truth
Oh yeah.
because I don't know. I don't have a point of reference
Yeah. He was
other
telling
than you,
he
who I
was
trust.
he
And by
was
the way,
straight up.
when he was working in that bunker 8 stories underground, they decided they didn't like him because he kept saying hydroxychloroquine.
Yeah, that's how you say it.
They didn't like him,
Nerd.
and so they replaced him. There's other doctors in the military,
Yeah.
and so they put him over the border.
Right.
6,000 troops under him at the border. So it's not just somebody that was there.
And he goes down and stops how many Haitians? 17,000 or something, he said?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
70,000. And trust me, I've seen the Haitians in the detention centers. They're scary dudes, man.
They're hateful.
I had no idea they were that freaking big. I
Oh,
mean,
really?
Really?
yeah, every one of them was as big as I was. I'm
Oh,
like, holy crap,
Even with no food, they grow?
man.
Are they really
And
Haitians?
we
maybe
had
it's a good thing we're not feeding them.
and most of the detainees were only there for 3 days. Those guys were there for 3 weeks when I was there because they didn't know what to do with them.
Oh.
Well, eventually they sent them all into the country.
Maybe,
All right, we got to wrap it up.
Okay.
Dale.
Yeah.
1 minute. Why you? How do they contact you? How do they support you? What do you need?
My phone number is 281-658-9480. Send me a text, give me a call. If I don't answer, text me anyway. I usually always get back with somebody.
Yeah.
I have a website, www.huls4buoygop.com. There's my plans for revitalizing the Bowie County Republican Party. There's my opinions on the amendments. We've got more information on there. Please come and visit. I've also got a Facebook site, Holds for Bowie GOP. And like I'm accessible. Call me if you got a question.
Steve, you got anything?
BowieCountyPatriots.org. We meet every Thursday. They've been doing that since 2009. There was probably 3 months that we didn't meet during COVID because we couldn't find a place.
Right.
Maybe not even that long. We did a Zoom a couple of times. But anyway, we've been meeting for a long time, and we've been bringing in really
I
good
mean,
people.
you do a great job about having solid guests
Yeah.
with great
It's not
experience.
just me. I mean, Dale helps you find people. There's others
Dale
too.
and Adam and
Yeah.
the team. But we don't always agree with our guests. Sometimes when they're leaving, we're like,
Yeah, I mean, we've had Van Deaver in there, and we were polite. We
Yeah,
pushed him, we
absolutely.
pushed him hard. There's been others
Well,
out
it's
there.
been a while because
He
I
quit
just
coming.
I figure if we invite him back, we're just going to beat up on him, and it's not going to help
And
him.
he's a nice guy.
And we're going to
Yeah.
talk. The communications thing. I walked into his office at the Capitol with a friend from one of my chapter leaders. She lives up in Saxe, north of Garland, I guess, or around Garland, wherever it is.
Right off Georgia Bush.
Yeah, that's how I found it. Yeah. So she and I walk in the office, and I said, here to see Gary Van Deaver if we can. She goes, well, he's not available right now, and I can hear him back in his office. And she says, can I say who's here? And I said, yeah, this is Alan Lovelace, and I'm Steve Oglesby. And I heard him move his chair. He came right out, and we visited a while, which is nice because I haven't seen him
Yeah.
I hadn't seen him in at least 4 years probably, and we had a really nice visit.
He's
a
always
great
more
guy.
than personable to
Again,
me.
Gary Van Deaver, Gary Singleton, they're good people.
We just don't agree on
don't
policy.
agree with them.
Or
there's
how they do their business.
yeah, and
And that's they're supposed to be our representatives,
yeah,
and they're not.
and it's legitimate. But we go out of our way, I think, a little bit to say they're good people.
I think we do too. But
But it's okay
I
to
think you do
disagree
it too
with them.
much.
Do what?
You do it too much.
Yeah. But it's good to know. Once again, you don't have to ride for the brand as a conservative. We are the party of free thinking. We are the liberal party when it comes to trains of thought.
Right.
You're allowed to have your own opinion. You're allowed to do your own thing. Anyway, we can't go back into it because I got to get out of here. Thank you both for coming this morning.
Hey, no
Thank you all for listening. I hope God blesses each and every one of you. And we'll be back and do it all again at some point. See you later.
There you go.
Probably.